I think that for the most part, one of the things is that it's not going to usually feel good to make a good decision. And I think that that's something that doesn't get drilled into enough people when you're young or when you're struggling with something. You doing the right thing doesn't really feel like anything. You doing something wrong probably feels good short term and then feels bad long term or whatever. But you doing the right thing, you being like, all right, look, here's how much I have in my account. I'm not going to take an Uber. I'm just going to take the bus home, and it's going to take longer and it's going to be annoying. And maybe the bus is going to be late, but like, I'm gonna go ahead and save this $25 and I'm not going to take an Uber home, because if I was in the Uber, all I'd be doing is playing on my phone anyways. I can play on my phone on the bus, right? That thing, decisions like that over time build you up to a better place than you were previously. And that's also considering that a lot of things in life need to go right. So then you have to make sure that at the very least, you're doing everything you can do, because the world is not fair at all. Especially when it comes to finances, the deck, even in America, richest country, blah, 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 the deck is stacked against you, whether you are Black, white, Latin, anybody, Asian, anybody. The deck is stacked against you because we live in a system now where even the things that are meant to uplift or help you or shouldn't even be checking for you. Like, there's just this thing now that they've talked about for the first time in a while, where the IRS pretty much admitted that they go after lower incomes more than higher incomes, because higher incomes usually have lawyers that are going to make the audit take forever, to where they end up spending the type of manpower where even when they get the money, they don't get as much as they spend in the manpower. Whereas if you make $20,000 a year, you're not fighting anything. You're just going to pay up slowly, right? Even that, it's like the thing that should literally be there to be taking the fair tax away from the people who owe it, is still would rather bear down on people who are probably doing what they're supposed to do, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's easier, right? It's easier to mess with you when you don't have money. It's easier to take advantage of you when you don't have money. You'll see these people. Hey, anybody who scams rich people goes down. Yep. All right. Anybody, every time. You know, there have yet to be people who have so perfectly scammed a bunch of rich people the way you can scam a bunch of poor people and get away with it, right? So I said all that to say that, like, when you are disadvantaged in any way, it's not fair. It's not the way the world should be. But the truth of the matter is that you're going to have to almost be absolutely perfect in everything that you do. Can't be getting arrested. You can't be spending money frivolously. You have to be damn near perfect just to break even, just to get yourself started. That's not fair. It's not right. And I hate it, but it is the truth of the matter, because while we're arguing about what's fair and whatever, there's people who are getting screwed over for absolutely no reason. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that with money, I had to accept two things. I had to accept that it will never feel like enough. Because if you've ever worried about money, there's no amount of money that can take away the complete worry of money. So I've had to settle with myself that, like, even if I were making a 7-figure income, and I'd still find a way in the deep, dark back of my mind to be like, I should be working a little harder just to, just save up a little bit more, just get a little nest egg, go, whatever. Even when it doesn't make sense anymore, and Chris Rock has talked about that as well. Like, millionaire, and you're still kind of like, yeah, but it could all go away, so I should keep grinding, keep whatever, right? The second thing that I had to accept is that my level of success, my level of popularity, or whatever those things are, for any artist, for any creative, they are not completely and totally up to you. The only thing that is up to me is what I create. So if I make 7 specials in the next 7 years, and they all get different levels of acclaim, that acclaim is not up to me. They did this study. I can't remember what it's called, but they basically created these scenarios for two groups of people that were like deeply unfair, right? So they had everyone in a room take a test, and it was like 32 people, and the two groups were 16 and 16, and they had everyone who took the test turned it in, and then by group, which the participants didn't know, but the experimenter knew, that by group, he was giving everyone money for a right answer. And they knew they'd get money for a right answer on the test. He gave one half of the group twice as much money as the other group, and then asked them why they thought that they had more money. And the people who got more money were like, well, I guess the people in my group must have turned in our test faster. We must have done this, that, or the other. Everyone who got more tried to come up with a reason that they got more. Right. The people who didn't get more just called it out for being unfair.
Right.
And that's the way that the world is, in a sense. When you're getting screwed, you can just see that the world is screwing you. But when you're getting stuff and maybe you haven't earned it, or maybe it did just fall into your lap or whatever, that's where people start to drink their own Kool-Aid and think, I must be so brilliant, I must be unstoppable, I must. And I think that is the way in which people go left. Do you know what I mean? I think that for the most part, keeping a level head is just remembering when things weren't fair for you one way, and now, hey, maybe things are going well, but maybe it's not fair for me in the other way. You know, there are plenty of funny people. There are incredibly funny comedians that I count myself lucky to be able to do the same shows as, right? And we're all going to reach different heights. And some of that is going to be from hard work. Some of that's going to be through talent. And then some of that's going to be random. Some of that's going to be just like, no, people just like him, you know?
This is the Knocking Doors Down podcast, featuring celebrities, experts, and everyday people who have overcome adversities, including addiction, mental health, and trauma, to live purposeful lives. And that's what Knocking Doors Down is all about.